Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us and welcome to CCAA Second Fridays. Second Fridays is part of the Charles County Arts Alliance's virtual program series, where we endeavor to create artistic connections across Charles County and Southern Maryland during the pandemic, with hopes to make in-person connections very soon. I am Monique Walker, your host for the evening, and it is my pleasure to introduce tonight's guest artist, Miss Sheryl Pollard-Thomas. How are you, Sheryl?
I am great. I like to say I'm blessed and a little stressed, but all in all, I am great.
I know what you mean. So let me put my disclaimer out for this evening in this time of pandemic. The very faint but lovely melodic sounds coming from my house are by way of my son presenting his trumpet music, presenting his trumpet playing, I should say. And I didn't think it would happen so early, but we go with the flow as we need to in times of
Yes.
COVID. So one thing that's very important before we move on any further, I do want to take this time to honor and let everyone know that today I am presenting from a small section of the historic and unceded land of the Piscataway, commonly referred to as Waldorf, Maryland. As we make these sharings and make these connections, it's just very important to everyone here at the Charles County Arts Alliance to honor the land that we stand on and also recognize the stolen land as well as the stolen bodies that have contributed and continue to contribute to everything here in Charles County, as well as all the arts that we're going to share today. And we're talking about dance. Everyone at the Charles County Arts Alliance knows that I am partial. While I love all the arts, I am very partial to dance. So to get our conversation going this evening, Sheryl, why don't you tell us a little about your background and how you came to us here in Charles County? I haven't put it out there your exact position, but I'll let you do that.
Okay. All right. So, hello everyone. As Monique said, I'm Sheryl Pollard-Thomas, and I am a Washingtonian. I now live in Fort Washington, Maryland, and I am now the new dance instructor slash the only dance instructor at CCPS, but I'm working at McDonough High School. A little bit about myself is that I started dancing, I believe, when I was 4 years old. My mom took me to Northeast Academy of Dance, and I'm always going to say that along with Bernice Hammond. Um, she was instrumental in everything that I am. I went to this little studio on Benny Road in Northeast Washington, D.C., and through that, many people don't realize or know because I teach modern so much that I am a baby ballerina. I just did ballet with her. She put me on point. I know it was too early, but she did. Like I think I was probably 9. Well, who does that? But she thought I was strong, and I did it. And so everything that I think I've become started with her. The class, the grace, the etiquette, the love of dance, the love of all art forms, per se. So I'm gonna go off, and I'll probably start crying. So let me go move on. Right. So there's
I
Bernie's
understand.
Academy. I know, right? There's Bernie's. Northeast Academy of Dance with Bernice Hammond, and I also have to put in a plug for Barbara Faison. I think she's in the county, but I'm not really sure. But she was also instrumental. From there, I went to Sousa Junior High School, and I just didn't like it. And then Western was becoming an arts program during the year. So before it became Duke Ellington, it was
Oh,
Western
wow.
High School. I
Right.
went there for a year, and in the summer, I went to North Carolina School of the Arts, and I said I had to stay. And they asked me, they called my mom, they gave me like almost a full ride to go there. And so that was it. I stayed there at North Carolina School of the Arts, and I graduated high school from there. Then after that, I went to SUNY Purchase, where I found and fell in love with modern dance. And
Mm-hmm.
there I was a ballet and modern dance major. I don't know if they still have that then, but I was able to do it. And there's where I met I don't know, Larry Clark, Kevin Wynn, Kazuko Harabayashi. I mean, so many people who were influential in what I wanted to do. After that, I went to Alvin Ailey. I studied there. I was on merit scholarship. That's what it was called back in the day. And then I went to Detroit City Dance Company. Oh God, what else did I do? Mafada Dance Company, Mission Dancers. I did pickup companies, and then I got to Forces of Nature after doing this long tour called Body and Soul. So I'm not going to go too much in depth, but from there I did go on tour. I danced with Forces of Nature. I became one of their lead dancers. I was there for 10 years, and then I had babies. I had two of them, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to tour? How am I going to do all these things? And a good friend of mine, Wyatt Jackson, said, hey, I got this gig for you in Boston. They opened up this new high school. We got this grant. I really want you to do it. You'll come in I think I was every other month for 2 weeks. I did that. They loved me. They wanted me to stay. And I was like, how do I move a family of 4 up to Boston, and you only want to pay me X amount of money? It all worked out because I went there. I was at that high school. I was at the Boston Conservatory. I did Harvard. Let me see, what else did I do? I did many things there. And then there came a time and place where I was like, wow, what am I going to do? So I was a dance instructor at Boston Arts Academy. I became the co-chair of the department. And then when the chair left, I would say the arts dean, she retired, then another colleague of mine, we became the co-chairs of the dance department. So I was there for 18 years. I moved back to Washington, D.C. There's where I went with Princess Moon Dance Institute. Yay! And there I was, I started out as an instructor, and then I was the company manager, and then I became instructor, studio director, and manager of the 2 companies. And it was like, whoa, a whirlwind, but I learned so much being with Princess, and I love the fact that she was very similar to Bernice Hammond. Black woman trying to make this thing, give this art, give this culture to the community, give back, give back. And so anyway, wow, that was a long story, right? So, and I still have more to say. So moving forward, I think this was, because my years are so, 2019 of December, I said, wow, I'm really doing a lot. I really want to get back in the high school life. I don't know why, but I really did. So I had already put in an application for Charles County Public Schools, and I put in one for Prince George's County Public Schools. All of a sudden, I get this email one day, and there it was. Hey, you have an interview, or we saw that you put in an application. We're holding interviews for dance. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just filled out everything, went in for an interview. I met the principal, I met the head of the performing arts, I met the vice principal. We had a long conversation about what they wanted, how they wanted. And I was like, wow, this seems like a good fit, something for me to start, because they didn't have dance there. They have theater, they have music, instrumental and choir, and they have fine arts. So here I come, and I'm like, oh, I love to do this. So January of 2020, I went in, signed the contract, and I don't know, March 23rd, everything shuts down. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I just get myself into? And I was like, oh, so not panic, but I was like, wow, is this really going to happen? And how is it going to happen? So long story short, segue into August, and it was on, as I like to say, on and popping. Yeah. And I went in, and I tried to take my blinders off, but it was really hard. But I mean, it was a privilege to be hired. It was whirlwind, as I'm telling you. I think I went in. It was like December the 8th, December the 12th, December the 18th. I got the word they needed to know something by a certain time, and that was it. In January, we talked. I signed papers. In February, I did the audition for kids to come in. We had 16 students auditioned, 16 or 17. We took them all because we didn't know, right?
Yeah.
And I think I didn't know about Charles County, and or maybe it's just the Maryland school system. Like, you can pick your choice, but you have other choices that you can do, right? From what I gather. So we wanted to take everybody just in case they picked North Point or Westlake or went
Right.
someplace else. So yeah, that's kind of like a quick and dirty type of what I am. But I'm going to go back a little bit and just say, of my background, yes, I started as ballet. Um, I know probably Miss Hammond wanted me to do tap with her husband, Mr. Jackson, but I never did. I just always did ballet. When
Right.
I got to Duke Ellington / Western, it was ballet and modern. And when I got to North Carolina School of the Arts, it was I was a ballet major. And I'll put it out there. I feel like they wanted me to stay as African American woman or girl coming in there. Like, I need to diversify. They needed to diversify their program, because when I got there, it was very much not too many of me that I could look at, right?
Right.
And that, increasingly got better. And then I ended up not wanting to go to college. I was not going to go to college. I went to DTH right from high school. And the reason why I went, because Mel Tomlinson had come to
Oh,
I'm
wow.
sorry, to North Carolina School of the Arts, and he taught. And I was like, look at this lovely, long, luscious black male dancer. And then he showed videos, and I was like, I'm going there. Although I knew about DTH, I went there. Mr. Mitchell offered me an apprenticeship, and I called home. I was so excited. I was like, Ma, I got an apprenticeship at DTH. It's going to
Wow.
be wonderful. She's like, "Oh, are you making money?" I said, no. She said, then, how are you going to survive? I can get a waitress job. And then she said, no, we go to college, and that's what you're doing. I don't remember no, I do remember taking the SATs. I don't remember auditioning or filling out any application for SUNY Purchase. But somehow I was there. I auditioned on the day that I showed up. They accepted me, and the rest is history.
Sure, that's I love listening to you because we've met and been together for a couple years. Just in the I'll say DMV dance community. And there's so much I didn't know about you. So that's another reason why I was pretty excited, because you bring such a rich dance history and just so many different experiences to the county. When I believe we were in the meeting and they told me that they said your name. And if you could have seen my face, it was like whatever was going on in the meeting, it was like I was in business mode. And then, did you say Sheryl Pollard-Thomas? And right away, like Mary, or my coworker Mary, because I forget we are broadcasting live, but Mary Whitmore, she has gotten to know my face when the wheels start turning about ideas. And Mary will just be like, okay, not in that meeting, but at other times she'll say, all right, Monique, what are you thinking? Because we already had this idea of bringing the different and highlighting the different disciplines to this platform for our
Right.
community and for people to learn more. So I was so excited. And again, you've shared so much with us. So I'm very excited to just even go a little deeper. So you got all this information. COVID hit. Before COVID, what would you say was like your or how would you describe your teaching philosophy as far as whatever your biggest idea of what would happen with the program? Let's just say pre-COVID, before
Okay.
everything hit the fan.
Yes. So I think I'm going to kind of sort of talk about my stint at Boston Arts Academy,
Okay.
because I thought that was such a great fit for me. Because growing up, single mom, she had 3 kids. We didn't have a lot of money. So that's why people were like, you're not going to go to North Carolina School of the Arts. But when I think about it, so much was given to me. And so I know I needed to give it back to the community. My teaching philosophy is just this. I want to give you what I was given. I'm going to give my heart. It's always on my sleeve. I'm going to show you, I don't know, how to navigate this life called dance. artist, right? Or performing artist. I'm gonna, my teaching philosophy is that I'm training you as if you're going to walk out and be a dancer, but you don't have to. You can be a connoisseur of dance and a connoisseur of the arts, because we're always throwing or almost talking about the history, and I'm always talking about other forms of dance. And I always say to my students, if you don't know your history, you can't do this art. So
Right.
it's not
Yeah.
enough. It's not enough just to do some steps or a combination or an exercise or just kind of, throw your legs up in the air. If you don't know why you're doing it or where it came from, then what is the point? So my teaching philosophy is just to give as much as I can, and hopefully people, students are receptive to it. And I think coming to McDonough, I know it was a new program, and that's what it was when I got to BAA. It was students from all over the area, right, of Boston, different areas. So here I am now with different people coming from all over Charles County, and I have these 12 students, and I have well, let me go back. I didn't know how many students I had. I saw the 16 when they auditioned, and I looked at them, and I was like, oh. Yeah, different levels. Okay, we got this. No, I know how to do this. I've been trained for this job,
Right.
because at most places where I taught, it's not always straight beginners, straight intermediate, straight advanced. So I said, we have this. So I had to sit down and write out, like what my curriculum would look like. I thought that, you know, if nothing else, freshman year has good ballet, good modern, jazz, and that's the core, and some somatic training, right? Pilates,
Mhm.
yoga, stretching, and then from there, master classes. Invite some of my people that I know to come in, teach a master class, whether it's near or far. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I know I can ramble on, but that's what I was thinking, that this could be one of those programs where my, in freshmen, and I told them, I said, I just want you to have a good base. Then 10th grade will expand more, 11th grade more, and then 12th grade.
Wow. Well, I know you have some footage so we can get to kind of see that teaching philosophy and style in action. So whenever you're ready, we'd love to view it.
Okay, let me see which one. I think I'm gonna do. This is just a 30-second clip from. I had to choreograph on seniors at Boston Arts Academy,
Okay.
and this is just a little one. And this was for, I danced with. I didn't really dance. I'm not going to say I really danced with Fred Benjamin, but Fred Benjamin was one of my all-time favorite choreographers and dancers. I mean, here's my little plugs so people know a little bit about me. There's Fred Benjamin in my life. There's George Faison in my life. And a
Hmm.
full circle thing is that I am now teaching one of George Faison's cousin, because George Faison is originally from DC.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Yeah, so one day she's like, "Do you know George Faison?" I was like, "Do I know George Faison? Please, we're like buddies. Like we took
Right.
pictures together. Maya Angelou came over to the house one day, and she took a picture with me with George. So I like, she's like, "Well, yeah, that's my cousin." I was like, "Oh, let me find out. Let me call George now and text him and say." So
It's
anyway,
such a such a small world,
it
though.
is, and that's what I tell the dance. The dance business is such a small world. So let me
Yes.
just see if I have this. I think it should do it right. This technology. So do you see it?
Yes.
And so here's my disclaimer. Always, in anything in footage that I show, you're going to hear my loud voice. I apologize, but not really. It's the excitement that comes out in me.
Right.
Yes. So that's one thing, right? I want to share one more.
Hmm.
go before, and we can do another one later. All right, so this is my George Mason crew. So another little thing about me teaching, I taught at George Mason. I love teaching college, right? So between the Boston Conservatory, Harvard, and then I get here to DC, and I'm like, oh, I got to get into some place to teach college.
Right.
And somebody knocked at my door, George Mason. I was like, I'm there.
Good.
So this is that one. So let me bring that one up. All right, here we go. They get so excited. So that was like, a class combination, and then the last, I think I gave them like 32 counts of improv.
Right.
So that was their little improv section. So yeah, so that's George Mason, and I'll share a little bit of another one at another round.
Yeah, you can go right ahead.
Well, I'll just show. I think this one's good. I'm just actually going to just show a picture. Okay, let me just do this. All right, here we go. All right, so this is one of my fave pictures. So this young lady right here is Basama Lanis, and that little red girl right there is me. And so this is a piece that I danced with at Forces of Nature. I want to give a little shout out to Forces of Nature, Abdel Salam, because he is like my dance dad also, although we're not too far in age, but
Right.
he really sort of he groomed me in a whole nother light culturally.
Mm-hmm.
Just knowing and being okay with what my body was, who I was in my body. He allowed me to open up. So this is a piece called Dawn Feather. Now, if no one knows about, Forces of Nature or Abdel Salam, I actually call him Abdel Bisamil, Bisamil, because he's so much the theater person. And Cecil B. Salam, that's what it is. And most of his, I don't know, I guess pieces are sort of like earthy and bird-like, animal-like. And so here I was the red bird, and it was a nonstop piece that killed me at the end. It was one of those pieces that kept going. And then after that, he asked me if I wanted to, he wanted to do a solo on me. And I said, yes. He said, so, but what do you want? And I said, I want anything except to be an animal. I want to be a human. I need to be a human. And so
Right.
yes. So he choreographed this solo on me in dedication to his mom that had passed away. And it went through sections of her life. And can I tell you, when I first performed it, the solo was 26 minutes long. He finally got it down to maybe, I don't know what it is now, because I think he might have chopped it some more. But my last performance of it, I believe it was 23 minutes. And it's me on stage. I had a couple of props, a chair, a table. I'm pushing the table. It's all those things that, like, how is this girl surviving? And the first time I performed it, I literally cried towards the end because it was sort of like, thinking about his mom, and his mom was great, and how she passed away, but also my grandmother, the only grandparent that I knew, had passed away, and I was not able to go to her funeral because of the contract and doing this performance. So it was kind of like, whew, but it made me kind of perk up and do what I needed to do. So anyway,
Right.
that's that story.
That's pretty awesome. And I love that connection too, because my dad in dance is Baba Chuck Davis.
Yes,
So
my favorite. I love him. Baba is,
yes,
oh my
so
God.
I'm well aware of the drama
Yeah.
and the theater. It's interesting because they both have a wonderful grasp of that in their own unique ways, which
Yes.
is why I'm such a huge fan of the both of them. And
Mm-hmm.
then also, I just wanted to go back a little bit. Just because we get so comfortable, and I wanted to get some acronyms out the
Oh,
way. Like you said, DTH. So if people aren't aware,
oh
that
yeah.
is, yeah, that's for Dance Theater of Harlem,
Mm-hmm.
a wonderful ballet company based out of New York. And I can't remember anything else, but I thought about DTH and I was like, oh, well, let me make sure people understand, because I encourage anyone watching, look up Dance Theater of Harlem. I encourage you
Yes.
to look up Forces of Nature. Rewind when you watch
Yes.
it again, and look up some of these wonderful names and artists that Sheryl has shared with us. Because, like I said earlier, it's not even just the experiences, but also the history that you hold in your body, which is very awesome for students when they get that opportunity, whether it's in the dance studio, the band room, whatever the case may be. I've
Right.
just always really enjoyed that piece that educators bring, because it's not just presenting, you're sharing the history and encouraging them to research on their own. Oh crack. But then also just to see the world and the possibilities through their teachers' eyes. I think that's a great opportunity, particularly that you can really bring to the McDonough program. So with all those comments and everything in mind, my next question that I wonder about is how can the community, before I go to that question, let me get it right. I just want to know, can you speak to the benefits of having this dance program at McDonough? Because right now it's at the high school level. So do you have any thoughts on how the community can not only make the program grow stronger, but how can just having that dance program there in turn, support the dance community throughout Charles County?
Okay. So there's a couple of things in there. So I
Mm-hmm.
think in terms of dance, for me, dance was always cathartic, right? It was always that thing that allowed me to be me, allowed me to tell a story, or allowed me to emote, let some feelings out when I didn't know how to say it. I didn't know how to articulate it in a language, right? So I believe that for me, any of the arts, but especially dance, is very cathartic, and it allows you to students who are interested, enthusiastic, um, I don't know, a lover or liker of dance, this would allow them to have that moment of themselves to just kind of, you're not going to have all moments that are just going to like kind of like, oh, do the free dance or whatever, right? I am going to train you. But, it does allow you to have improvisational time. It allows you to choreograph. The program will, once we get it going out of this lovely pandemic COVID action, I
Right.
think it will allow the community to see how, I don't know, dance is missing, right? You need that part.
Yeah.
When I look at McDonough, it has a thriving theater, thriving visual arts, media arts, music. Now here I come. It's dance. So I think that the community, as long as we're trying to get the word out that I'm there, that it's there is a program, the community could help by just, acknowledging. And if they know of anyone or any student, especially an eighth grader, who may be sort of like teetering back and forth and like, oh, I don't really know, like point them out direction. If you love dance, or even if you like it, get your toes wet, just dip in there, dive in there. I think also for the bigger dance community, it will help. And sorry, I always talk with my hands. It will help. I think it just will enhance the community, the dance community. I feel like I always kind of retreat back to my Boston Arts Academy, which is the acronym BAA, if I say that, where we had a few outside studios students, in our program, and they would come back to us, some of them, and say, wow, you've really enhanced the training of these students. You're giving them another look, another way of dancing. You're allowing them to explore other genres, other, I say techniques in terms of ballet, or, in modern, because there's different ones. There's the Russian technique, Italian, then you have Horton, Taylor, Cunningham. So I don't know. I think I think the dance community, if everyone is open, it allows your students to feel at ease and feel good about, enhancing their studies. I think, does that make sense? Did I answer the
No,
question?
it makes, yeah, it does. And it makes absolute sense, because I just think how, from my personal experience, I didn't go to a high school, but as I worked with some of my students, I didn't go to a performing arts high school or a school where I could work on my craft, during the day, and then on the weekends, and then the evenings too. So I definitely agree at that, at it being an asset. And the other piece, there are things that can be explored outside of doing just technique that, for me personally, I didn't get in my local dance studio. So it was, and I think about some of the students that I teach now, if there are certain names that I, just assume that they would know regarding history and
Right,
dance, but they don't necessarily know it unless the teacher brings it to it. And
right,
that's not always the goal, depending on the environment, because some studios, as we know, are definitely different. They make it a goal. When I, that, a key person, I think of
mm-hmm,
Princess Moon in her studio. I know that that is something, because that's something that they do, because that's how she was taught. So
right,
clearly certain, people in the private sector, that is a goal for them. But when you're at a school, it's a part of the curriculum. You don't really have a choice. Is that experience. So as we wrap up, come to the end of our time, I guess my next question for you would be, what's the process like, or what do students need to do to apply, to learn more about the dance program at McDonough? What would their process be? I heard you earlier in our discussion mention an interview
mm-hmm.
or an audition
Audition.
process.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back
Okay.
a little bit, and because I want to talk about this other thing, this other issue, right, or this other standing thing, this other elephant in the room, right, which is
Right.
COVID-19, which is the pandemic, which we are virtual. Ew.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it is so
Mhm.
hard. I just want to say that um, I'm hoping in the fall that we are in person, that it is good. I am doing the best I can with I like to call it the Brady Bunch boxes, and having them in there and dancing and showing me what they can do. But it is a virtual life, and I think what's missing, I just want to just kind of throw that out there, is that sort of dance ship, right? Like you have your buddy who you can like talk to, like, oh my God, Miss Thomas really did this to me, or this happened, and I really, I need that conversation. I need that camaraderie, right? And they're missing that, I feel like, because it's kind of like I'm in my box. And so I'm trying to figure out how to do that. We are going to, in terms of the community, we'll find out or figure out a way to have like a little dance thing, possibly at the end of the year. So I just don't want the community to be reluctant, even if we had to be virtual in the fall. Like, I'm making it happen. I'm making it work. The kids are getting to a good place and a good level. I've divvied out my days, right? Tuesday and Friday, I have a longer block. So those are definitely my technique days. Monday and Wednesdays are my days where I do like vocabulary, terminology, dance history, somatic body conditioning. We do those on those days, on other days, and because we only have 4 days a week. But I just wanted to sort of throw that out so people aren't afraid. So from what I gather, you can go to CCPS, yes, and on their website. And we're located under the CTE program, Career Technical Education, I believe. And there's an application online. You fill out the application. There's a link for you to just do a video of yourself. That is due by December 22nd. And I'm hoping I'm saying this all correctly. I meant to like write that part down, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But if if they go to CCPS on the website, CTE program, we're listed with that. It's the dance program at McDonough High School. There's an application, and with that, I think they have a link so that you can submit your video. There will be an audition process depending on how we are and what phase we are. It'll be on Zoom, or it possibly could be in person, depending on how many people want to join our program.
Well, wonderful. And I think also, particularly on the back end, we'll be sure to put a link in our comments just to give people access, and whatever, we can do, the Arts Alliance can do to direct people your way. We are all for that. Yeah, definitely. So let's see. I got so excited. It's like, let me make sure I got all my points here. Let's see.
I mean, I just also, while you're looking, look through that.
Well,
I want to say that I don't know.
I really think that, go ahead, say it again, Cheryl.
No, I was just saying that I also want people to know that it's a legitimate dance department. Like I have trained for this. I have worked hard for this. I've worked in high schools, private studios, colleges, universities, and so it kind of just drew me back, I guess. And I got a comment because I posted this on my Facebook page, and one of my ballet people said, "I thought you had retired," and I just wrote back, "So did I." But I'm here, and I'm here to give, to Charles County in whichever way I can. So, any way to draw the community into, being open so that they feel like they can come in, have dance classes. I mean, they built this beautiful studio. It used to be a weight room, and I walked in, that first week, like, whoa, wow, got little cubbies, I got big speaker, mirrors, bars. I mean, it's beautiful. And I'm the only one using it right now because of COVID. But I'm hoping that, we open up and, everybody, all the students get to come in. So, yeah, it's a wonderful program. It's, and it's going to be, I'm building this curriculum, even while this year I'm going to ask people to come in and teach class so that they don't just see me every time they have dance class, and I know they would enjoy that.
Right. Now, this one thing I was thinking about, it's Christmas time, and it's typically a busy time for the dance community with different versions of the Nutcracker going on. Some people just like to have a winter program that's themed around the holidays. What are your favorite dance memories as a performer or even as as an educator for this time of the year?
Mm. So I'm gonna go back to my North Carolina School of the Arts days. I loved Nutcracker. But the only thing that I'm going to say out loud and personal
Mhm.
is that I think because I was a little chocolate girl, I couldn't be the sugar plum fairy. But it's okay because I was a waltz of the flowers. I was snow. So there were opportunities for me. So it was great. So that's one of my favorite memories of performing as at a young age. Also, another memory is driving down the road back to Winston-Salem. I stopped in a rest area, and you know who I saw? Me on a poster for
Oh,
Nutcracker.
wow, look at that.
No, I went in a bathroom. Who would have thunk it, right? But it was in a rest area on 80. What's that? 85. I was like, wow, look what
85. Yep.
I can do. Uh-huh. So so that was one of that. In my older life, I didn't really do Nutcrackers. That's when I started sort of evolving or moving a little bit away from performing ballet, but doing more modern. So I think one of my all-time favorite, here's my FON, which is Forces of Nature Dance Theater, is Regeneration Night. And Regeneration
Oh,
Night is
wow.
about Kwanzaa and all the principles of Kwanzaa. And we did the building of the community. That's what it's called. So it was such a community sharing and happening. I mean, you walk in and there was all this food that they did and a bazaar in the beginning, and then you had the performance, and then afterwards, you got to meet and greet with the artists. So I just feel like to this day it's still going on. So it's called Regeneration
That's
Night. So if you're
amazing.
ever in New York, it's now they have it at the Apollo every year. I think it's around somewhere around the 27th or 28th. So that's one that always sticks out to me. And it's really a family thing too, because my oldest daughter did she danced a little bit in it, but she did there's a little part in it that she was always in. And then my youngest daughter, she was a part of it, but she was a baby. So she did her little thing too before we moved to Boston. So those are two of my favorites. So like ballet and my modern and
Right.
African, because I want people to know I dance African too.
So this is my last question. And if we could just do just using our imaginations here. In your wildest dream, what is an ideal program or event that you would love to see? And we're thinking, restrictions. Don't
Everything's
worry about no restrictions. This is your in your wildest dreams. What is that ideal program or event you would love to see at McDonough?
whew, oh. Okay, so in my wildest dreams, I would say the what I would like to see at McDonough is for dance, but it could also venture out is to have a dance festival,
Mhm.
maybe a 2 or 3 day, similar to a high school dance festival, but not quite that big, but just have a high school dance. I mean, maybe it doesn't have to be just high school, but a festival that allowed anyone from everywhere to come in and just enjoy a day of dance. They can stay 2 days, one day, whatever it is. That would be my dream event, right? To have this festival. The other thing that I would be an ideal for me is and I don't know how to make this happen, but maybe make it happen because it becomes, I don't know if they have these terms here down south, a magnet school, right? So
Mhm.
it becomes so that, you come there for dance, theater, music, and the arts, and you do your thing and you have your academics, but your day is really consumed with your art because
Wow.
that's what you want to do, right? And like I said, even though you may not walk out the door and become that artist, you still found a way to be a connoisseur of it and to love it and to appreciate it and to honor it because you spent 4 years doing it.
Right, exactly.
Right. That's what I think would be great. And like right now I'm building this curriculum as if it was an arts high school, but it's not. And then some of my curriculum is a little wonky right now
Hmm.
because we're in COVID days. And so when I say, well, tardies and this and that, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that doesn't really go, but I'm gonna leave it because, eventually it'll happen.
Yeah. Well, thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. I am so excited about the possibilities. And as you know, I've said to you offline, in any way that we here at the Charles County Arts Alliance can support you, let us know,
Yes.
particularly as this thing builds and we not only garner county interest, but taking it beyond into the states. Because as you see, I am coming up with my biggest and wildest imaginations without restrictions, in person, moving to build all those things that you mentioned, from the camaraderie to just everything that to help build great students, great artists, and lovers and people that really honor the art. So Cheryl,
In that
thank you.
community.
Exactly, that communities, and it's so small. So
Yes.
whatever we can do to support you, thank you so much.
Oh,
We
thank you.
also just want to take a moment to thank the Maryland State Arts Council and also Charles County Board of Education and their Fine and Performing Arts office there, who we work with in other ways, but we are always appreciative to partner with them in any way we can to help build our students. So with that, we invite anyone and everyone to subscribe to the Charles County Arts Alliance's YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Charles County Arts MD. Follow us on Instagram, Charles County Arts Alliance. We are there. And then also, we welcome you to join us the second Friday of January, where we're going to go take a look at the different generations of visual artists here in Charles County. It's going to be an exciting, moderated conversation where we get to talk about what keeps an artist and what sustains a visual artist in the county, and what does mentorship look like, and how that can help us strengthen the visual arts community as a model for other arts communities in the county. So again, Cheryl, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
Definitely, it's been an indeed pleasure. So with that, we are signing off. Tech crew, take us out. Have a happy